Welcome back. Bringing your kids into an operation isn't always easy. It sometimes requires rethinking many aspects of the business. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brad Bulla has a story of an Indiana couple that decided to expand to make room for their daughter and her family.
Indiana farmers Donnie and Tammy Lawson both have a lifelong passion for agriculture, especially raising cattle.
Well, I grew up in the poultry industry. We didn't have any cattle back then, but as a neighbor came to me when I was in 4-H and asked if I'd be interested in showing a calf, and I said absolutely, and once I did, I was hooked.
We're kind of a traditional Indiana farm that's diversified. We have row crops, we have a feedlot, we have cow-calf herd, and we do some hay also.
Recently, Donnie and Tammy spent a lot of time thinking about the future of Lawson Land and Cattle, specifically how to incorporate their kids. Their son Clayton is in the military, but daughter Kaylee was ready to join the business. The Lawsons discovered there's a lot to consider when bringing in another generation.
Being able to support another family is certainly an obstacle on the size farm that we had.
We had to try to find a way to bring her and potentially her family back, and yet keep our family doing the same things that we do.
Today, Kaylee and her husband Jeremy are full-time members of the operation. But getting to this point, where everyone could be supported, required expansion. After several years of planning and research, the decision was made to build this monoslope building to help improve their feeding program and the number of animals they could support.
The monoslope building's had a huge impact on our operation. It's improved our efficiency and also the ability for us to increase our numbers quickly. It also, on a management standpoint, it takes less people and less time to manage it on a day-to-day basis.
We have seen an immediate impact as far as the health of our cattle, the efficiency, and of course our time investment in feeding cattle. We were driving as much as 60 miles a day. For us, that's a lot of driving to feed, no more than 300 head of feeders. Now we can feed over 500 head in less than an hour and a half.
There's a lot of other structures out there that we looked at, but at the end of the day, this was the one that we knew that would last, not only for us, as long as Tammy and I want to feed cattle, but for our daughter, our son, and their families too.
Expanding a cattle operation in Indiana, a state most often known for row crops, was a decision that was questioned by some.
The additional expense of investment into a feedlot, a modern monoslope feedlot, was questioned by many. And not so much that it wasn't a good idea, but why at our age would we want to invest additional funding into something that will take maybe 10 to 15 years to come to pay off.
We had lots of questions of why do you want to expand here? Well, this is our home. I grew up in this community. Tammy and I have been a part of this community for 30 years. I've lived here all my life, and this is where we wanted to be. And we can feed cattle in Indiana just as well as any other state.
Although there's no one-size-fits-all way to incorporate other generations into an operation, the Lawsons have some advice to those in the beef industry looking to grow.
I'd say the first thing that you want to do if you want to integrate a new generation in or a different generation is to first get a plan of what each person is interested in, and also how you can go about and integrating that into your current operation.
I wouldn't be afraid, especially in Indiana or any of the Midwestern states, to expand your cattle operation. I think there's all kinds of opportunities, whether it's in the cow-calf sector, the stalker side of it, or the feedlot. You've got to run your numbers and make sure it works for you, but there's all types of opportunities in the beef business.
The Lawsons may not be done expanding. They're already planning for the possibility that Kaylee's family continues to grow, or that son Clay decides to return to the farm as well. No matter what the future holds, the Lawsons will be ready to support subsequent generations.
My hope for the future is for our operation to grow so that we can welcome more generations in later on down the road. But we also want to be able to support the generations that are currently involved.
I wouldn't mind building another building if we can grow it enough to bring the cattle in, and it takes a lot of money to operate this, and so as long as we can create the capital and do a good job at what we're doing, we'd love to expand even more.
The opportunity for us to bring our next generation back to our family operation here, it overjoys me. We knew this is what we love. When people talk about retiring, this is what we'll do when we retire. So whether Kaylee likes it or not, we're going to be around for a while.
Reporting from Thorntown, Indiana, I'm Brad Bullitt for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.